Hi, my name's Felicia Holmes, and welcome to Own It for Good. And this is my first episode. I'm so excited that you're here. I know you have lots and lots of choices out there in podcast land and YouTube world and everywhere on the interwebs of what you choose to listen to and consume. And so I just want to first off say thank you for giving me even just a few minutes. So this is my first episode, and I would like to start off by asking you a question first. And one of the reasons that I have created this program and why I'm so passionate about it. And this question is, are you really just tired, sick and tired of being tired? And are you just functioning and surviving on coffee, trying to do all the right things, and maybe you're doing your morning devotional and you're going to all the right things for your kids' school and your family and job and all of that, only just anticipating that moment when you finally give yourself permission to maybe sit down and have a break or pour that glass of wine while you're cooking dinner. You made it through another day and you're functioning well, everything looks great from the outside, but on the inside, maybe you're just dying a little, and that you're just functioning. You're doing just what you can to keep up and making it all look great from the outside. But you know that you're not fulfilling your potential and all that God put you on this wonderful planet to do. So yeah, if that's you and you're still here and you're like, tell me more, that sounds like me, and that's how I felt. And so I went looking for other people like me. And boy, there's a lot of us out there where we've achieved all the things. It looks like we are, checking off all of those boxes, and we're making that glass of wine that we might be out having with our friends, or even at home with our husbands on the couch, or whoever you're with. And we are even convincing ourselves, yeah, this is the life, I'm doing it, I'm enjoying this. But deep down, you just know that there is something missing. Well, that was me too. And anyway, the last few years have been quite a journey for me. And I have become so passionate about this. And I'm involved in a couple of online communities where I really help other women like us get out of this trap. Wake up, wake up. That's when I talk about it a lot. When I used to describe that to my husband, that is exactly how I felt. I felt like I was kind of sleepwalking through life, and I didn't want to do that anymore. And I also could see where I was headed. And then I started to ask myself some really serious questions that other coaches and authors and podcast hosts were asking, of their audiences, like, have those deathbed questions. Are you leaving it all on the field, or are you going to end up with regrets? Are you going to end up in a position where you knew you could have done more? Maybe you are looking forward to being a grandparent. That's the stage that I'm in. I've got 2 young adult children, one in high school and one in college. And I start thinking ahead of being a grandparent. And I'm going to have, if I'm this tired now, when they're this age, am I going to have the energy to be the kind of grandparent that I want? Am I role modeling the kind of person that I want to parent that I want to be, so that they're going to be parents? And we're going to go a lot more into my personal story. And I can't wait to hear more of your stories and whether or not that you're resonating with me. So I'd love for you to leave any comments. I'm still in the process of launching my website. I'm probably doing all this backwards, but you know what? I'm doing it. I'm owning it. And so that's what I want this episode in particular to be a little bit about, just so as you continue to listen and I reference these words, own it and what I mean by that. And I have, and the reason here, let's define own it. Own it is the words, OWN, and then the word IT, and then I have for good. So that is the title that I was gifted with. Maybe a spiritual download that just came to me while I was, going through this journey. And when it came to me, and I was like, oh, that's sort of what I am doing. This is a process in a nutshell. So if you never go to my website, never hook up with me for any coaching, that's okay. I just want to help everybody out there be better. I want you to feel better. And because that means that, the world is better because we all are starting to take ownership. So anyway, what does own it mean? Oh, and this is something that you can use in your daily journaling practice, overall goal setting. But O stands for outcome. What do you want? What do you want your life to look like? Really start living from an intention of what's possible for me? What do I want? You've got to see it before you see it. And you've got to know it before you can know it. I know. W, why? Why do you want this? It's got to be compelling, like so deep that, you get emotional, like it's a must. You have to do this. Not just a fluffy, whatever moves you. And I don't get to decide what fluffy is. Like, we're all individual, and God has created us all for different purposes and different gifts for the world. So don't let anybody decide what is that for you. Just make sure that it's something that really moves you and that is bigger than you and bigger than a point in time. Like it's really good to have goals to want to look good for a wedding, but the bigger goal behind that also might be, for example, if my son gets married in 5 years and I really want to lose a certain amount of weight or whatever for his wedding, like that's a great reason. That's a great outcome in and of itself. But what's going to sustain me? Because true success is not just hitting a goal. It's when it's just who you are and you maintain it. You're able to sustain this, not just white knuckle towards a point in time and then you just go back to who you are. But if I dig deeper behind, that goal, that is also tied to a date and that is very meaningful. What's the bigger meaning behind it? That if I feel good, then I'm not going to be distracted by, oh, I don't look good in this dress and I don't want a picture taken of me, which is going to take away me being fully present and there for my son and that event. And I can even go a few layers deeper. So even on the surface, if there is a goal like that, like dig a little bit deeper, like really anchor in with your why. Why must you do this? Why do you have to do this? And also, so outcome, why, and then N. Now what? And this is something, again, that you can do on a daily basis. Now what are you going to do about it? And the bigger question, now what? And for me personally, I had to really take a look at my little nightly wine habit that I just loved. I loved that. I so looked forward to it on a daily basis. But if I was serious about having this bigger feeling of more energy and more focus and being fully awake on a regular basis and in my life, I'm sorry, that is my dog who is, stop it, Chloe, then I can, I've lost my place. I hope you'll forgive me. Again, first time, rookie, I'm just putting it out there. So now what are you going to do? And again, it helps you define your bigger goal, but then on a daily basis, now what am I going to do? What are the choices I'm going to make in the moment, every day, every hour to get me to the bigger goal? So always be asking yourself, now what? I is for integrity. Listening to that inner wisdom, like, are you living aligned? And I knew I wasn't. From the outside, it looked like I had it all going on, but on the inside, in integrity, I am integrated with my heart, knowing that I'm doing my absolute best, really doing everything I can to fulfill my potential and to fulfill all the things and the roles that I want to have in my life, as a wife, as a mother, as a friend, as a coworker, a colleague, an owner of a business, all these things. And above all, am I serving God to my fullest potential? No, not really. Not if I'm feeling just a little hungover. I don't have full access to the energy potential in my body because my body's too busy trying to detox, get that poison out of my system. And then, and if you're a gray area drinker like me, that daily amnesia that you get. You wake up and you're like, today's the day. I'm not going to buy the bottle of wine today. I'm not going to have drinks. I'm going to take a little break. Or you start putting rules on it. Or I'm only going to have one, or it's only going to be, on the weekends, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. If you're still here and listening to me, I know you know what I'm talking about. So, I'm sorry for coughing. But you're just tired. And that is not living with integrity. Because I know it's in. I am not fully integrated. Mind, body, spirit, soul, potential. And you know what your it is. And so even if it's not, that daily cocktail, or maybe you're a binge drinker. Maybe you're able to just pull it off during the weekend, but you really let loose and, it's on the weekends. Or maybe you're a shopper or a spender or a overeater. And me, that's another problem I have. That's the next it that I'm working on, to fully still. So this is not a one and done it. There's no one it. It's just, what is your current it? And that is the journey of life. It is a continuous process of working on all of these things, because this is also another aspect of owning it in general, just accepting that being a healthy, wholehearted, integrated human being is a lot of work until you're not breathing anymore. So buckle up, accept that fact, embrace it. Life is an adventure of continuously growing and learning. Anyway, back to the acronym, Own It. We got one more letter, and that is the T. You've got to take action. It can't just stay in here. That's what I did for a long time. It was just kind of ruminating. I guess I was in my preparing stage. If you compare it maybe to a washing machine, I was in the pre-soak cycle. I had a lot of stuff to soak in, get out, allow it when I was ready to start spinning and cycling. It was loosening that dirt up. So you do have to start somewhere. And if you're in that phase, that's perfectly okay. That's part of the process. And it's a valuable part of the process. But at some point, you do have to decide. You have to move beyond ruminating and thinking. And sometimes we get that one moment, you know that moment. Don't let those moments pass you by. When you are ready, you've got to seize those moments, that ready, like, okay, something's happening here. I think I'm ready. Do it, own it. And then I've added the words for good on there and they're multi-purpose for me. For good is to be resolved, like it's done, I am decided, because in order to really transform and stay on this path, not only do you have to know your outcome, you have to have that deep, compelling why, you have to know what am I going to do now, and integrity and taking action, all of those things. But you have to have conviction, resolution, committed, 100% committed, resolved for good. And that's where, again, we're going to kind of revisit that bigger why again. Why? Because it's going to be good for me personally, and what's good for me from a holistic, integrated place of fulfilling my potential, then I help those around me in my immediate circle feel better because I'm healthier and I'm dealing with them on a healthy basis. And we're going to get into a lot more of what that means. Things like boundaries and, having a joyful heart and gratitude. There's so much that goes into all of this. But as you start to get healthier and more integrated with more integrity, your world will get better. It's for good. And then as those people, it ripples out. And so you changing for your good is for the good of the world. So anyway, if you're still here with me, I am just so grateful. I know you've got a lot of time, and I'm sorry for any little interruptions. I'm just putting this out there because hey, this is me owning it. I've got to get it. I've got to get out of my own head and spinning and just get it done. And even if it's not perfect. And there's a couple of coaches that come to mind immediately if you would like to check them out that have really spurred me on my journey. One is Chalene Johnson. She wrote a book called Push Goal. I think that's what it was. But her concept of the lead domino that helps all of the other dominoes go over. And I know her concept was inspired by another coach, Brian Tracy, Eat the Frog. All of these, we all say the same thing because the things work, but we have our own way of saying it. But Chalene really got me thinking with her push goal about finally really knowing what it was that I needed to own. And for years, I tried the diets, I did the exercise. I was doing all of the right things, except I was trying to have my cake and eat it too. And for me, well, actually it was my wine. I was trying to drink my wine and have it too. And it just wasn't working for me. So that was it. I could not achieve my goals and fulfill my potential drinking, 2 to 3 glasses of wine a night. It just wasn't working for me. And ultimately, I had to really be honest and own that fact. And that was my push goal. And she talks about that thing being not always the fun, sexiest thing, but it is, what that thing is. So if it's not the wine for you, the wine witch, then maybe it's something else. Maybe it's chocolate or salty, crunchy things, just maybe emotional eating in general. But we all have these coping strategies. If you're human, you've got one. So what is yours? Is there something that is not serving you in your life that you would like to identify and own it? Use this process. And I'm going to keep talking about it. Again, this is my first episode, so thank you so much for tuning in. And a second one that has really helped me and transformed, and I'm still a very active part of this community, is Jen Couch. And she is also known as Sober Sis. And she has created this wonderful online community. I think we're over 11,000 now. And I just love her approach. She has put together one of the most amazing comprehensive programs. And it's not all about being alcohol free either. So if you'd like to learn more about either of these people, check them out, ChaleneJohnson.com or SoberSis.com. And And we'd love to have you in the Sober Sis community. It really is a wonderful place. If you would like to just take a small break and evaluate your relationship with alcohol, if that might be one of your things. And anyway, keep tuning in and join me as we continue this adventure and this journey of owning it. And I'm so glad to be your partner on this. All right, bye for now.